Session 240. Chapter 2, verse 222. And they ask you about menstruation. Say, it is a mild harm. So keep apart from women during menstruation, and do not approach them until they have purified themselves. But once they have purified themselves, then go to them in the way that Allah has enjoined on you. Allah loves those who turn back from wrongdoing, and He loves those who purify themselves. Chapter 2, verse 222. In this verse, Allah addresses the marital relations with women during the period of menstruation. When this ruling was revealed, people were of two schools of thought. Some people believe that a woman is so unclean during her period that her husband cannot have sexual relations with her, eat with her, or even stay in the same house. In fact, even the children could not be with a menstruating woman under one roof. On the other extreme, people believe that a menstruating woman is like any other woman, and there is no reason to abstain from sexual activity. So Islam came to sort this issue out and had a moderate middle view. God says, and they ask you about menstruation. Say, it is a mild harm, so keep apart from women during menstruation and do not approach them until they have purified themselves. Allah referred to menstruation as mild harm, translated from the Arabic, atha. Since the description came from the Lord, our Creator, we accept it, regardless of what medicine has to claim. Once you hear that something is harmful, you prepare the mind to learn how to avoid harm. God made the menstrual cycle a part of woman's life, as it is necessary for childbearing. He instructs men to avoid sexual relationships with their wives during this period, because it is harmful. Here you may ask, is menstruation harmful to the woman or the man? We answer that it is harmful for both, because the verse used the general term of harm and did not specify further. It suggests that sexual intercourse during this period may cause issues, such as infections or diseases, to both the male and female private parts. Allah created the woman's womb and placed a specific number of eggs, only known to Him, into her ovaries. When a woman ovulates and the egg is not fertilized, menstruation occurs. Menstruation is blood containing non-living tissue that used to line the uterus in preparation for the fertilized egg. During menstruation, the vaginal and cervical areas become irritated and prone to inflammation and growth of harmful bacteria. These harmful microbes may flourish or be transferred to the man if intercourse takes place during menstruation. Moreover, and due to hormonal changes, menstruation affects women and weakens their bodies. Thus, God permitted them to skip fasting and praying during this period. The man should not burden the woman further during this time with sexual intercourse. The description of menstruation as mild harm requires the advice of how to mitigate its effects. Thus, Allah offers the following advice. So keep apart from women during menstruation, and do not approach them until they have purified themselves. Scholars agree that sexual intercourse is what's prohibited, but other sexual acts, such as foreplay, are permissible. In other words, do not approach them means do not enter from the place from which the harmful menstrual blood is exiting. The verse continues, do not approach them until they have purified themselves. But once they have purified themselves, then go to them in the way that Allah has enjoined on you. Here, we must take note of the Quranic expression, until they have purified themselves. Had the verse said, do not approach them until they become pure, it would have meant that you can resume sexual relations once the menstrual bleeding stops. However, God specified not to resume sexual relations until they have purified themselves, meaning that the bleeding had to stop and the woman has to bathe for purification afterwards, also known as ghusl. So for those who ask the question, is it permissible for a man to have sexual intercourse with his wife the moment the menstrual bleeding stops? We answer that the Arabic words used in this verse are very clear and leave no room for ambiguity. Intercourse is not permissible until the woman has taken the ghusl shower after the bleeding has stopped. This is part of the beauty and wonder of the Quran, where the words used, and sometimes even single letters, help clarify and illuminate the intended ruling. The verse ends with, Allah loves those who turn back from wrongdoing, and He loves those who purify themselves. Just as Allah asked you to purify yourself physically, He also asks you to purify yourself spiritually through prayer and repentance.
The messenger said, My Lord, my people treat this Quran as something to be ignored. Chapter 25, verse 30. Do not abandon God's book. Please take a moment to subscribe and to share with your family and friends. Visit us at www.QURANGARDEN.com.